kitchen. One thing that can be very challenging in a big kitchen is knowing where all of the important switches are to turn on all the lights and hood fans on and off during the day. So come with me and I'll show you where they all are. Back in here we have 3 switches that are the lights for inside the refrigerators and in the main part of the kitchen. Lights for the pastry shop, right here, by the door to the stairs. More lights for the pastry shop, right here, behind the baker's rack. A switch that controls our hot holding box, on and off, located right next to it. Baker's hood fan switch, on and off. The main hood fans in the kitchen are on this switch right here, off and on. Last switches that are important to the kitchen breaker number 1, right there. Dish pit light number 1, right here. And for a reason that I don't understand, the other dish pit light right here. So this is part of the guided tour of all of the fridges and freezers. Our kitchen is very large, we have many different fridges and freezers, and this guide is to help you be able to find things in here. The first fridge that we're going to show you is the pastry fridge, often known as Bruce's fridge, named after Bruce, our master pastry chef who has been here for a very long time. In this fridge you will find already made desserts, prep for making more desserts, a little bit of dairy that is for the baker and not for you to take, berries for garnishing desserts, that is for you to use while cooking, and any other things that might be relevant to this particular station. Walk-in freezer, also known as the main freezer. In here you will find already processed proteins and already prepared sauces. Especially in this section right here is one of the most relevant ones to most kitchen operations. Things like Elmhurst's own duck breasts that have already been processed and vacuumed, ready to be pulled for the line. Already cut and vacuum-packed steaks. Sliced and frozen roast beef. It is all organized by different proteins and different preparations and is tagged accordingly. Further at the back we have seafood, chicken, and pork. This side is frozen fruits and vegetables, pastry, and we have some prefab products back there like chicken wings and ice cream. This is the main walk-in fridge, also known as the walk-in fridge. Please join me. This fridge, like most, is organized according to food safety, with fully prepared food on the top, going all the way down to raw food, particularly chicken, at the bottom. We call this the protein rack. This is where you're going to find any actively used proteins. Remember those duck breasts that we saw in the freezer? They are pulled and left on the protein rack and tagged with a date, just like that. This shelf right here is known as the prep shelf. Prepared sauces that are ready to be used, and also small amounts of products that we use for cooking kind of stay right there. We've got yogurt, whipped cream, pineapple juice up there. We have juices up here. We have dairy and liquid egg here. We have cheeses here. We have deli meats there. This shelf right here is all Elmhurst's own beef. So we can see from left to right, we have steaks. We have some beautiful flank steak, strip loin and ribeye in there. We've got some inside rounds and sirloins right there. We've got some outside flats right there. We have right here the produce fridge. In here is where you're going to find all of your fresh fruits and vegetables. It is also the location where already prepared fruit products might live, such as this delicious fruit cocktail that we use on breakfast. Right here we have what's known as the outgoing product fridge. This is the location for things that must be kept cold, but are on their way to either buffets or tables. If you come in here, I'll show you some examples. We have up here some beautiful amuse-bouche arranged for the dining room for this evening, ready to go. We have right here a very lovely cheese board, due for a buffet, and we have a tomato platter, due for a buffet. This is the preferred location, assuming that there's room, for anything like this, so it is safe and in a good place for servers to come take without disturbing kitchen operations. So we're outside on this beautiful rainy November day to show the outdoor freezers. Now these are used for long-term storage of things that aren't actively in use. So this first one, we have a lot of our burger buns, hot dog buns, tortillas, bacon served rolls prepared by our pastry chef. This next one, we're going to find most of our breads. We're going to find bagels, rye bread, white and brown bread. These are flatbreads used for pizza, and some lovely baguettes as well. Now these next two fridges require the use of these keys that are hanging in the kitchen at all times to open because they are full of valuable meat products. They're also heavy. This is where we keep long-term storage of Elmhurst sewn beef. As you can see, we've got a beef cross rib here. This is a whole lot of ground beef. I see some strip loins down there, some tenderloins. So this is not for actively being used food. This is for long-term storage of product. This next one, we're going to find yet more beef. Being a beef ranch, we need a lot of storage space for our beef. That's more ground beef. I believe that's some liver down there. That's some Korean ribs. And those are all briskets that we'll be saving for barbecue season. When you show up to a day at work, one of the first questions that's going to be on your mind is, what am I doing today? One of the first places to check to find that out is the main whiteboard, found on the door to the main walk-in fridge. This is basically split into two sides. The left-hand side, which lists the prep jobs that have to be done, the right-hand side, which lists functions that are happening and where those products are going. So, these are just some fake ones I wrote up to give a general idea. This was a dinner that we had the other day, Autonomy South Monaghan dinner. I write up the number of people, that's for 60 people. It is on Saturday, it is at 7 o'clock. They'll be getting roast beef and gravy, vegetables, mashed potatoes, a cheese board, turnip and apple soup, and a house curry. This is, of course, just an example, but you get the general idea. Same thing right here with brunch. As we complete items, it is common for people to either cross them out or check them off. This is the next board of particular relevance. It doesn't really have a name per se, but on this board you're going to find a very important piece of information, which is the counts. This is the counts of all of the standard products that we sell on a day-to-day basis off of our a la carte menu. We update these once or twice a day, depending on the level of busyness, so the servers always know how many of any particular item are available to sell, so we don't accidentally sell something that we do not have. Other piece of information, important phone numbers that may be needed. My own number, Darwin, my right-hand man, and Greg Elmhurst, the general manager of the resort. The next section here, staff assignments. I have written up here a couple of examples. Judy and Luis, she was making ravioli and he was making apple chutney. We list staff assignments out so just to give people a clearer picture on what they might be doing. This section right here is only really relevant on weekends. On weekends, we have a lot of buffets happening, so I outline here hots that will be appearing on different buffets, soups that will be appearing on different buffets, and chef salads, so composed salads that will be appearing on many buffets. I'll even add things like for Saturday or for brunch. This next board is currently blank, and it typically stays in a state of usable at all times. In the top right-hand corner is a section labeled Inventory Concerns. When you're working in the kitchen, if you notice anything low, if you can't find anything, if you use the last of something, if you're just having trouble finding anything and you don't know where it is, please put it on the inventory concerns list. This is not an automatic order. This is letting me know that you couldn't find something or we may be low on something so I can deal with it. The rest of this space is used to leave notes to oncoming staff members. For instance, if you have products that are cooking away that you need to be taken out of the oven at a later time, or I use this a lot of time to write short recipes for non-standard products, a salad dressing. If you find yourself working on the line, which in this kitchen you likely will, you're going to become very quickly acquainted with our clipboard system. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The lunch clipboard also doubles as the pub clipboard. Now these clipboards contain a few important things. A copy of the menu that is relevant to the clipboard, checklist sheets for all the products that you will need to make a service happen, in this case, dining room dinner, and behind that, a list of product specifications, aka recipes for all the products that you may need to stock your line with. Same thing with pub and lunch, copy of the pub menu, checklist, product specifications. Breakfast, menu, checklist, product specifications. So, in trying to figure out what you're doing in any given day, there's the few tools that we've already shown. We have the main whiteboard, the other whiteboards, and the kitchen clipboards. Now, this is the other part of the equation, which is the function sheets. This is where all of the paperwork for our large-scale functions that happen on a regular basis here at Elmhurst Resort can be found. So, for an example right here, today is Monday, November 26th. We had a group, Peterborough County Inn. They arrived 12 p.m. Lunch, which we were responsible for, was the Farmhouse Sandwich Buffet. It was for 70 people. They needed a break with coffee, tea, baking, and fruit. These hang in a place where both cooks and servers can see them. As a junior staff member, it is unlikely you will have too much to do with the function sheets. Most of the work that you will be finding will be already onto whiteboards or other clipboards by then, but these always exist as a good reference, especially for things like, for instance, this Wednesday group has pre-orders of menus, so this is where they have clipped their pre-ordered menus, so they are somewhere safe where we can find them. The other thing that will be found on function sheet that is not usually on other whiteboards, because there isn't necessarily room, is dietary requirements, usually including a name and the number of people that may have a special dietary requirement. So one question I'm sure you might have is, with a place this big and with all of the food that we make, where is all the food that we make going? Well, it might be going to a few different locations, so I'm going to take you through the different locations where it might be going. Right now, I'm standing in the pub, also known as the Wild Blue Yonder. If someone says that something is going to the Wild Blue Yonder, it's going here. I'm standing here in the Hearthside dining room. If someone says that something needs to go to the Hearthside, or to the dining room, or to the main dining room, this is the room that they are referring to. I'm standing now in the Heritage dining room, also known as the Heritage room, also known as the Buffet room. It is directly across the hall from the kitchen, and if someone says that they need someone to go to the Heritage room, this is where it is going. I'm standing here outside of the Enterprise conference room. It is down the stairs and across the hall from the main kitchen. If someone says they need something to go to the Enterprise conference room or to the conference room, this is where it's going. I'm standing here in the conservatory, which is the building directly across from the main building up the main garden walkway. If someone said they need food to come up to the conservatory, this is where you'll be taking it.